So like last year, I was trying to throw my daughter like a slumber party, and once again, no woman lives in the household. It's just me and my daughter, and like I communicated with one of the mothers, like just to see if she can get the ball rolling because she know a bunch of more mothers and whatnot. And then I asked, do she feel comfortable having? And as I was talking, she straight up interrupted me. No, I don't feel comfortable with that at all. And like I said, because I'm a man, and she was honest, and I respect her honesty. She was like, yes, and I'm like, that really made me that really did make me feel some type of way. So I expressed my, not even frustration. I was really sad, and I expressed that with other women, and they was like, well, Mark Anthony, you got to see where she coming from, and blah blah blah, this and that and whatnot. And I do understand like where women coming from, but it just hurt my feelings to know that me, just as a man, I get labeled as that. And like I would never do nothing like that to like I would never do nothing like that to kids, because like when I was growing up, like it was a situation. Like I try to make jokes about it and whatnot, and and like, long story short, it happened to me, but by a woman. And I just remember that feeling as I got older, and when I was younger, I would never do that to a child. And just know that like I could even throw my daughter like a slumber party is because like they think I'ma do what somebody did to me, which was a woman, by the way. And like that shit made me damn near like cry for real, bro, because I'm just trying to like have my daughter, but as it's that shit just made me really feel some type of way.
So this single father cannot seem to understand why his daughter's friends' parents don't feel comfortable with them coming over to his house for a sleepover. Now, when I first watched the original video of him talking about his feelings around it, I was empathetic. I said, you know what? I understand. It's sad that as a father, as a single dad, you feel like your daughter is going to be missing out on certain things. You feel like she's going to miss out on experiences because you're a single dad, and other people are going to look at you as a man and automatically have certain feelings around you being a single father. But this isn't that. When I sat with it a little bit, I had to think like that's not what this is. If you sent out invitations for your daughter's birthday saying, hey, we're going to go to Giggle Wiggle, or we're going to go to the Mickey Mouse house or whatever during the day, and other parents are invited to come, then I don't think parents would have this problem that they're having with you inviting other little girls. But when you say, hey, my daughter wants to have a slumber party, and instead of you reaching out to the parents of your little girl's friends, right? Instead of you reaching out directly to them to say, hey, my daughter wants to do this, I would like to invite your daughter to come. You send one of the mothers to go. You want to. She says no. But you want to send one of the mothers to talk to the other mothers to convince them to let their daughters come over for your daughter's sleepover. So you don't want to do any of the heavy lifting. And then you feel sad about it. No problem. You feel sad about the fact that your daughter's going to be missing out on certain experiences. Guess what? Yes, she will. She will have to miss out on certain experiences because you're a single dad. And the way the world is today in 2025, where any little thing can turn into a lawsuit, a civil suit, any little thing can get you in trouble, people are more weary of what they get themselves into, and you should be too. So why do you want to have this slumber party? And why can't you compute in your mind the dangers, the potential harm, the potential problems, anything that could go wrong that these other parents are considering, and thus saying, no, my daughter cannot come over for a sleepover? Now, you're allowed to have whatever feelings you have. That's not the problem. The problem is you got your computer or your phone or whatever. You got your recording device out. You sat there and you said, this is just not fair. Well, guess what? Life isn't fair. And no one cares about your feelings over the safety of those little girls. And actually, as I'm editing, I'm realizing he never really mentioned that the problem was his daughter not having these experiences. It was all about how he felt and how the potential judgment that these mothers had made him feel. He never mentioned the experiences he wanted to give his daughter. So I'm going to take back the benefit of the doubt that I gave him. I know sleepovers is a topic that is becoming increasingly controversial because there's been so many videos that I saw on TikTok, people talking about how sleepovers have become dangerous. There's a story that they mentioned of a dad who invited, whose daughter had a sleepover, and he roofied the little girls while they were at the sleepover. There's so many things that can go wrong at a sleepover. I am a true crime fanatic, so I don't need this to be broken down to me for me to understand why some people have a problem with sleepovers overall, whether you're a single dad or not. Some people don't allow their kids to spend the night over somebody else's house, irrespective of the gender or the dynamic of that household. They just don't, because they'd rather be safe than sorry. So this dad not understanding why these moms are saying no is not understanding for me. I'm not understanding why he has a problem with other moms or other parents saying no to him inviting other little girls into his house so his daughter can have a slumber party for her birthday. Find another activity. Go out to Sky Zone. Go out to Kings Island if you're in Cincinnati. Go out to Six Flags. Do something else. Your daughter does not have to be deprived of these experiences, because there's so many experiences that a little girl can have to celebrate her birthday that are not slumber parties. And what you need to do is, number one, sit your daughter down and explain to her why this is going to be a recurring issue, because you're a single dad raising a preteen. So because you're a single dad, and because there's this understanding and this notion, this perceived notion in society that people are just trying to be more careful with their kids, sometimes parents are going to say no, and she may not understand why, but you understand why, because you yourself said it. You've been through something traumatic in your lifetime at the hands of a woman. So predators don't have to be men. They can be men or women. Overwhelmingly, they're men, but you know that children are vulnerable. Children need to be protected. So you probably wish you were protected so that wouldn't have happened to you, so you can understand why a parent would not want to put their kids in a situation where they need to be protected and something could go wrong. And saying that you would never do that to a child is not enough proof to any parent out there that they should just give you free reign with their children. That is not enough. So the fact that he could understand that is one issue. The other problem is that he came on the internet. He made a video, and honestly, we have to study this idea of people trying to go viral and doing anything for a viral moment, because you didn't have to come on the internet and say that. You could have felt that right here. Yep, you could have felt that right here and kept it to yourself. But you made a video, and now you're going viral. Now you're trying to capitalize off this experience because there's so much controversy around it. There's people saying there's nothing wrong with what he said. There's people saying there is something wrong with what he said. But that was the ultimate goal, right? The ultimate goal was to put this out there and have people either defend you or be so against you that they're willing to engage with your content, and thus you're going to become famous. And I think that this would have been one thing if he made the video, said his piece, and then that was the end of it. But no, what we end up with is a montage of videos that I'm going to show you next of him responding to people and their thoughts around the situation, and the defensiveness, the way that this person is unwilling to understand other people's point of views is crazy to me. People are saying, hey, it's okay that you feel that way. I understand it can be sad as a single dad to come to terms with the fact that your daughter is going to be missing out on some experiences because of your choices in life, because of your circumstances. But to respond to people in this way, problematic. Let's take a look.
Y'all weird ass, ogre built ass, Teletubby chest ass, weird ass niggas gotta use my name to get clout so women can talk to y'all. This the first time women in y'all life, y'all gotta use me to get women to talk to y'all. Y'all gotta talk down on me and to get women to talk to y'all. Y'all are fucking weird. Y'all can't go out in the real world cause y'all fucking ugly. Y'all do all this, y'all ugly. That's why.
Yeah, I take back everything I said. All the apologies, y'all can shove that up y'all ass. Cause y'all don't know shit that goes on over here in this household. Y'all out here putting these false narratives on people and shit, trying to give me these labels and names. Y'all are some weird ass, stupid motherfucking individuals.
And I know that I'm being hateful, but that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing. I'm So there's a guy on here who felt like he had to dress up like a woman to be funny on TikTok, who is very, very depressed right now because he can't have a whole bunch of little girls in pajamas sleeping in his house. No, I'm playing. There's a single father on here who wants to...
You gonna come over here saying I dress like a woman and then gonna say I'm playing. First, you trying to use homophobia as a fear, which lets me know you a bitch ass nigga. But let's finish watching the rest of the video.
There was so many other activities that you could have named that you didn't have to do a sleepover. Movie theaters, mini golf, bowling. I was going to say go to the pool. But the fact that you said you were depressed, no, I wouldn't trust my daughter to go.
I was gonna say you a bitch ass. You know what? I am gonna say you a bitch ass nigga. So, how about that?
Now, after this situation and looking at a couple of videos about the situation, I went down the rabbit hole of checking out who is Mark Anthony Django. And I didn't have to go too far down the rabbit hole because, as social media will do for you, they have already gone down the rabbit hole. And there's plenty of videos about how, oh, this man has a record. So let's take a look at that.
Domestic abuse, battery, child endangerment, false imprisonment. Yeah, I got arrested for all those things. I don't even remember what we was fighting for that day, but all I know is she was trying to hit me that day. So I was grabbing her. I was trying to restrain her from hitting me, and I was saying a lot of explicit things. I'm like, B, this and that. You a crazy ass B. And I was blowing up. I'm like, you need to stop trying to hit me. And then she was trying to run out the house. This is where the false imprisonment come in at. And then I'm like, no, you're not going nowhere because you are acting fucking crazy. You're not finna make me go to jail. And that's what I was telling her. So that's where the false imprisonment came in. And so she finally ran out the street. She ran out the door. She ran across the street to Family Dollar and just went in there yelling, ah, ah, ah. So I put on a pink robe, got my daughter, walked across the street. That's where the child endangerment come from, I guess. And so it was some black women in the store, and they was like, I'm like, hey, have y'all seen a crazy ass white girl up here? They're like, yeah, she in the back, but you probably need to leave. I seen some people calling the police and whatnot. So I left, went back across the street, and as I'm in my house, I get a knock at the door. I'm like, now, I didn't know shit back then. I didn't. And the police asked me what happened. And so I told him exactly what I'm telling y'all right now.
Now, look, I'm not saying that this man needs to be judged for his past forever and ever and ever. But what I am saying is this man doesn't really seem to have much self-awareness. You may not think that this is a big deal, but other parents think that's a big deal. And that alone is enough for you to drop the situation. Just dead it. You don't have to continue to explain yourself. You don't have to continue to make logical explanations of why this is okay and it's not a big deal. It doesn't have to make sense to you. It just has to make sense for those parents who it is their responsibility to protect their children. And furthermore, Mark Anthony, you don't have to diffuse or dilute the importance or the concern that people have around your past. Yes, we're not going to judge you for it and hold it against you all the time. But in certain situations, like a slumber party, I think parents have a right to hold some reservation in saying that their kids cannot come over your house and spend the night there without them being present and without them knowing who you are. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, you don't know these parents. You didn't get a chance to know them. You didn't reach out to them yourself. You wanted to pawn that off to somebody else to do it for you. So that being the case, you need to let this go. It's not about how you feel. It's about how those parents feel about the safety of their children. And if they don't want them coming over to your house for a slumber party, guess what? Your little girl's going to have a very hard conversation with you. And you need to explain to her why that's the case. And I just want to know, would you rather have a hard conversation with your daughter about how things are going to be a little bit different for her because she's growing up in a unique circumstance? Or do you want to have a hard conversation with her about an allegation that somebody could make being in your presence overnight without their parents around? What if something goes wrong during the slumber party? How are you going to explain that? How are you going to explain even you making this video and people calling you a creep all around the internet to your daughter who now has to face the consequences of that? Everybody has social media these days. So likely your preteen and her classmates have seen the videos that you've made, and now you've made her either a laughingstock or a topic of conversation at a minimum for why her dad is going out doing the things that he's doing, such as making a video talking about why little girls can't come and spend the night at his house. And I'm not saying that he did this maliciously. I'm not saying his feelings around the sadness of his daughter not experiencing certain things is not valid. What I am saying is putting it on the internet and then continuing to harp on it in the way that you have is just not it's not rational. It's not rational. These parents have to understand, like, just because you wouldn't do something doesn't mean other parents believe you wouldn't do that thing. How many people have been taken advantage of by somebody that they never expected? How many parents have had to learn to rebuild the relationship with their kids because they entrusted them with somebody else and things ended up going left? You don't want to be in that scenario. So in the words of like Mivo Brivini Kagiri, like I don't know how the French say it. My French is not that good. But instead of trying to fix the situation, maybe we try to avoid the situation altogether. Find a daytime activity for you and your daughter. Explain to her that things are going to be a little bit different because she doesn't have a woman, a mom in her life the way that other two household parents have. And explain to her that she's going to have to learn to deal with that. And so will you. You have to understand, because you are a single dad, because you have a history, a past, that's going to impact how people interact with you going forward, whether or not they know about you in your past. They're going to be able to look it up. It just confused me how he was so confused. I was confused by his confusion. How don't you understand that other moms don't want their daughters to come spend the night at your house? This is not okay. People have to stop. And people have to stop coming to the internet with this kind of bullshit. And then the last thing I want to say, I'm going to close the video out with this, and you guys can watch the montage of videos that people have found on this guy's channel. I'm not saying it justifies what the parent said or doesn't. I'm just saying it adds a little bit more color to what the hell is going on with this guy. I personally believe there's a close link between the type of behavior you're about to see in the videos I'm going to show you and the lack of understanding and the lack of awareness that this guy demonstrated with this whole situation. So let's take a look at that, and thank you for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy.
I also think I'm gay just because I know how to twerk just a little bit.
Big old freak, big booty, big old tree. I don't make them wait for the pussy. Wait, shit is me, big old speed.
All right, that's enough.
Or maybe because I got a special page on Twitter only dedicated to me. Oh. Damn, I just did that twerk. Dang.
Wrist froze, yeah, work. Yeah. Look at my, when I twerk, that hurt. Like me, yeah, know my worth. With me is a gift and a curse. I pay my own rent.
You need this a phone.
See, this just only gonna be for the women. If you'll do it, keep strolling. But this ain't the only thing I work out on is my arms. I do 100 sit-ups a day. But people told me that's bad for you. It can fuck up something. You can pull a muscle right there.